What's up, Magic fans? Mackenzie Thurkill here for an all-new episode of Orlando Magic Soundoff presented by Socios. I'm so excited about today's episode. I'm joined by Connell from Orlando Magic UK. Check it out if you haven't. And we talk all things young guys. We're talking RJ Hampton. We're talking Franz Wagner and Cole Anthony. Check it out. What's up, Magic fans? Welcome to another episode of Orlando Magic Soundoff. I'm Mackenzie Thurkill, and I am so excited to be joined by Connell, who is part of the Orlando Magic UK. And Connell, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Orlando Magic family. And thank you so much for staying up late to join me tonight.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's honestly no problem. It's something definitely worth staying up for. I mean, we're used to it because a lot of our podcast guests come from your side of the pond anyway. So we've actually just got done recording this week's Penny for Your Thoughts podcast, if you want to check that out. But yeah, it's something that we're used to, and it's something that I'm more than happy to do. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I love it. Make that plug. I've been on that podcast before. It's great. You guys do an absolute phenomenal job. So you should definitely check it out if you are an Orlando Magic fan, which you are if you are currently watching this show. But Connell, let's get right into the show today. First thing I want to talk about is RJ Hampton. Of course, we're seeing his game just grow continually. How have you seen him step up so far this season?
Well, I think it's a shame that for the, up to this point of the season, we've not really been able to see him have the sort of impact that he did when he came in from Denver last year. I mean, if you remember back in May, I believe, he won the Rookie of the Month for the Eastern Conference, and he was really making an impact on the team and exciting people. Then we drafted, a really special guard in Jalen Suggs, and he's kind of came in, he took over that starting spot, but due to injuries, RJ's come through, and I think he's a guy that when given the opportunity, he really relishes it. You just look back at the last week against the Lakers and the Clippers, he was only getting 14, 15 minutes, averaging in the 20s on his field goal percentage, but then he gets to start against Atlanta. He's in his 44% from the field, 75% from three, 80 from the line. So he's, when we give him that opportunity to shine and be the player that he can be, he absolutely relishes it. You can tell that he really enjoys being able to play regular basketball.
We were a little depleted in our game against the Hawks, but he was the best out of all the starters. Franz didn't have himself a great night. Cole didn't have the night we usually are accustomed to seeing him have. He finished with 15 points. He hit some threes. He's now made 33s so far this season. Last season, he only hit 27. So he's already ahead of where he was last season, which you love to see it. He is getting more minutes. And I think what we've seen with RJ, and we've talked about this a lot, not necessarily on this show, but just in general over the course of this season when it pertains to RJ, is for him, we know that he loves the game. It's getting him to slow it down and being able to see the game kind of come to him. And that's really a storyline that you talk about with most young players when they enter into the league, because it's just a different game than what they've been accustomed to.
No, I mean, definitely. I think that's something that will come to not just him, but other members of our team, because we've got a very, very young roster this year. And with that maturity will come that ability to kind of realise, right, I'm in an NBA game of basketball, here's what I need to do to kind of take control. But like you said, with regards to Cole and Franz, it's nice to have another guy who maybe we can rely on, because throughout the offense this year, a lot of it has been ran through Cole and Franz. And I mean, those are two really great options. But there will be nights where we can't rely on them. Like last night, they were quiet in relation to normal. But the fact that we could rely on RJ is something that's really exciting, especially when you look at, he's only come in through injury, basically. But we've got Markel to come back. We've got, J.I. to come back. We've got Mo to come back. If they all come back and RJ's still able to make that impact that he showed us last night that he can, that's something really, really exciting going forward. The amount of depth that we're going to have that's going to be able to come on and not only kind of fill a spot but make a difference. It's looking really promising for us. We've got a really, really exciting roster this year, so I think we're going places. I really do.
It is an exciting roster because you want to be able to have a team where, while we're so accustomed to seeing teams in this league having like the guy or the big three, you want to be able to have a team where you're like, any of these guys on any given night can put up 20 plus points. Like, that's the team you want, because that's a lot harder to defend. It's easy when you know Cole's going to be that guy, so then you lock eyes on Cole. You try to contain Franz. But then when you have RJ coming out for 15 points, you're then like, oh, there's someone else that we have to worry about? And that makes it so much more difficult.
No, definitely. And I think that's something that we will see more coming forward because of the potential of the depth that we have in the team. So when you look to the bench, you look that you've got RJ. When Markel comes back, you're going to potentially have Jalen. You're going to have Chuma, who showed us more so last season than this season the potential that he has and the impact that he can make on a game. You know, when J.I. comes back, we're going to have either Wendell or Mo potentially coming off the bench. That's, you know, we've fielded starting fives who are going to be worse than our bench when we're at full strength, in my opinion. So to have those players who have the ability to start coming off the bench, who are also, they're all super young guys in their early 20s, over the next few seasons, if we can keep this core together and we can, you know, watch how they gel, because we watch, you know, all the content to do with the team. We know how fun and how much of a fun time they're having and we're having watching them this year. You know, the charisma's there, the energy's there, they want to play for each other, they want to fight. If their basketball development can stay in line with how much fun and fight they have, I think we've got a really exciting future, I do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And just talking about this young core, we have 9 guys on this roster, 24 and younger. So a very young team, a lot of growth still happening. Of course, it will be exciting once we get J.I. and Markel back. But just staying on the topic of young Bulls, let's talk about a guy from your side of the pond, not necessarily from your country, but from your continent, Franz Wagner.
Yep.
So he's just been an absolute steal from that draft.
Oh, completely. I mean, at the 8th pick, I'm thinking, you know, all my mind was on was who we were going to get in the 4th pick, admittedly, that night. We fell to the 8th pick. I hadn't really done that much research on the players. I'm thinking Franz Wagner, don't really know much about this guy. We'll see. The Summer League, I was like, he's okay. Like, he's not going to stand out. He's going to be another one of those okay draft picks. And then he's blown everyone away this season. You know, he's leading the rookies for the most amount of points scored. In my opinion, front runner for Rookie of the Year. I don't know what the rookie ladders agree with me, but you know, the way he's kind of come in, it's almost a bit of an underdog story because he's now in that conversation with Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, as the best rookie in the league right now. He's got second most points per game on the Magic. He's got the second highest 3-point percentage, which is an increasingly valuable asset to have in today's game. And I think it's kind of a testament to him to show how when we played, how seriously other teams' defenses are taking him, because like they know that they're a guy that we rely on and they need to shut down. Otherwise, you know, he's put up big games this season that a lot of rookies kind of cruise through the first season, maybe they'll improve in the sophomore, but no, Franz has said, right, this is my season, he's going to really take this opportunity. With admittedly a few of the star guys out, you know, J.I. would have probably been our star forward of the year, but Franz has said, no, I'm taking this season by the horns and I'm going to show them what I can do. And he's not just impressed me, he's impressed everyone throughout the league. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things about Franz is when you watch him is he puts everything into every play for the full 48 minutes. And it's really not just him. While we are talking about him, it's this whole team. But Franz he wants it. Like you were just saying, he's taking the bull by the horns. You talked about how he's first in the NBA among rookies in points. He's second in steals, 5th in assists, 6th in rebounds. And I actually found a chart earlier that compared him and his current stats to the last 10 guys who have won Rookie of the Year. And if you look at your stats, obviously for me to go through this whole rundown would be a little absurd. But he's pretty even keel with all of them. Simmons, Brogdon, Towns, Wiggins. Like, he is on par for having the same exact year that we've seen all of these guys have, who have continued to have successful careers in the NBA. And he has just been such a joy to have on this team. And he's someone that's talked about every single night. I know Terrence Ross the other day was saying that he reminds him of a young Gordon Hayward, which that's exactly what you want to hear. It's like, we have a young Gordon, we have the next Gordon Hayward. Great. Love that for us.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, and I'm glad that people are finally taking note of what he's doing, because in the first few games of the season, you know, everyone's kind of settling in, and I'm looking at Franz and thinking, wow, we've got a serious guy here. And then no one's really taking notice. But as we know, coming to 30 games into the season, you can't argue with the stats. People looking at the stats, like you say, first in points, 5th in assists. He is the real deal. And if you know, you're not just getting that from the fans, as Piers, Terrence Ross is saying it. All the guys seem to have so much praise for him. And you can just see, even when you look beyond the stats, like you say, the hustle that he puts out on the floor every night is unrivaled. It's a culture around the team now where they want to fight and they want to work for each other because they're such young, energetic guys. But I feel like Franz has really, really epitomised that this season. Just with his desire, it's almost as if he's thought, I'm the 8th pick in this draft, I'm going to prove to people why I should be, you know, 5th, 4th, 3rd. You know, one of those really, really serious high up picks. And he has proved to people, and I really hope he continues to do so for a long time, because if this is what we're getting from year 1, Franz Wagner, I want to see what we get from year 2, 3, because if we keep looking forward from this, we've got a really, really big prospect on our hands.
I know, it's so exciting. And we've really have been only talking about his offensive production. We haven't even really touched the surface of what he does defensively, because he is so big for the defensive end as well, and all of the intangibles that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you say about the intangibles, that the hustle applies to both ends of the floor. He's always quick, trying to shut down the perimeter. He's hustling. He's making it difficult for players in the post as well. He seems like a guy who, when he develops, he's going to be able to do it all, and that's what is so exciting about him. It's just it's hard to put into words, because we haven't had a prospect like him in a while. I feel like it feels like every time we get going, the sting gets taken out of us. J.I. we're thinking defensive player of the year, maybe he gets an injury. We get Markel, he's shown he's a really good player, he gets an injury. But Franz has really, really brought this excitement back to me, and I thank him for that.
Yeah, right. I know. I feel like as Orlando Magic fans and loving this team, you always hold your breath a little bit, because you're like, I don't want the other shoe to drop. I don't want the other shoe to drop, because we've gotten so accustomed to that, unfortunately. So here's to hoping that is not the case this season, and that Franz wins Rookie of the Year, because I'm here for that.
Yep, so am I.
Speaking of Rookie of the Year, and while he did not win it last year, even though I think there is definitely a case to be made, Cole Anthony has just completely succeeded what he's done in his rookie campaign now in his sophomore season. So let's talk about how much we've just seen Cole Anthony improve his game.
I mean, this is one that you can't debate. When you look at his stats last year compared to this season, he's averaging more points, more assists, more rebounds, higher field goal percentage, higher three-point percentage, higher free throw percentage. He's doing everything in his game to a higher level than he was last year, and that is just perfect, because we see the interviews he's come out with. We spoke, Orlando Magic UK spoke with Greg Anthony last week, and he's letting us know there's a real vision for Cole, and Cole said it himself in an interview last week. He doesn't just want to be good, he wants to be great, and that's what we really want for our organisation, to kind of get back to that level where we're competing with whoever the big boy is in the league at that time. We really want to be back up there, and you can tell that Cole has his sights set on that. He doesn't just want to be some average kind of role guy. He wants to be the star, and that's what we need in Orlando. You were saying earlier, it's nice to have people who can come off the bench, potentially put up 20 in a night, but a star wouldn't go amiss. If Cole wants to turn out to be that superstar that I really think he can be, then that'd be ideal, because you can see he's got the potential, he's got the drive, he's got the support from us, from his dad, from his teammates. Everyone knows how good this guy is and how good he can be. And then, we look at how he's taken a step this season. It makes you wonder, what's the next step? Is that to being a star? Is that to being someone who's, talked about across the league as one of the best guards? I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, the thing about Cole is that he just oozes confidence, right? And while there's always that fine line between confidence and cocky, he walks it beautifully. He is a very confident guy, and he shows up to be like, this is why I can talk and walk and do it all. And you want to see that. And he kind of, I guess when you see what he does, you see it kind of just then spread throughout the locker room, because now you see the rest of the team kind of feel that same way. And so much of that is stemming from Cole. And like you said, I think Cole really has his sight set on being a great player and just going down in history the same way we know his dad.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. You look at our record this season and you think, the guys must be pretty down in the dumps, they must be upset. But the culture doesn't seem to have changed from what we were like coming into the season, where we've got an exciting group of young guys who are excited themselves about basketball. And Cole is, the leader of that guy, objectively, in terms of points, in terms of performances this season. Cole is the leader of that guy, and he's also the leader of the fun and the excitement. We watch his post-game interviews with Dante. It's so much fun, and it's so exciting for us to watch that, even though there won't be as many wins this season due to the inexperience of the team, the guys aren't going to get themselves beat up about that, and they're still willing to go out there with energy and to play. And I feel like Cole's definitely a big influence on the team because of how big his personality is. He seems like a really, really confident guy. He, as you said, he walks that line perfectly between confidence and cockiness, where I don't know someone that dislikes Cole Anthony. Everyone thinks he's a funny guy. Everyone thinks he's a good guy. And he backs it up, which is what I'm really enjoying seeing this year. He backs it up more than he ever has before with his stat lines. And he's proven to be, in my opinion, and I think it's an opinion shared by many, our best player this season. And potentially, like you say, the most improved player in the league. Hey, why not? You look at every stat he's been improving on this year. He's only going to keep getting better. Surely that's what you'd expect.
Yeah, definitely. Connell, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm so excited to have you as part of the family here with the Orlando Magic. Obviously, would love to have you back on throughout this season. And thank you so much for all of your takes. And again, for staying up late to join us on Orlando Magic Soundoff presented by Socios.